Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the Playing with Needles podcast. My name is Jen, and I am your host, obviously, as well as the owner of the Playing with Needles Etsy shop. And I will have an update on that later in the podcast. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Playing with Needles. I'm going to try really hard not to be annoyed because this is take 3. Adjust just a little bit here. That didn't really do what I wanted it to. My phone has been having issues today. So typically I record everything all in one go, and there isn't fancy editing and all that stuff. I record, I upload to YouTube. And we go. But twice now, my phone has decided that it doesn't like me and it's broken everything up. So I'm going to see if I can do this in 30 minutes because it seems to cut off around 32 minutes and break into another. Earlier it broke this morning's try into 3 different videos, and one of them didn't have audio. It broke my last try into 2 different videos, and one of them didn't have video. It just had audio. So that's not really cool if I'm like trying to show you fabric, which is what I was trying to do. So this is a podcast about knitting, sewing, quilting, sometimes some crochet, cooking, baking, whatever crafty type things I get up to. So, how are you? I'm having some tea in my David's Tea iced tea infuser tumbler. It's not a mug, so let's go with tumbler. Anyway, if you haven't used one of these before, loose tea goes in the bottom. Oh, that makes a horrible noise. Hot water, ice goes in the center portion. Let it steep. Push it down. Comes up through the ice. Fresh iced tea. And this is spicy pina margarita. It's lime and pineapple and a few other spices, I think. I'm not really sure what all's in it. And then a little bit of dried jalapeno. It's good. It's not really spicy. I don't know, maybe it is if you're not from Texas. But I don't find it very spicy. There's a little hint of something at the end, but that's it. Anyway, let's start with the knitting, because I have a finished object. I will say this before I show it to you. I know it is not blocked. I know the ends are not woven in. However, all the knitting is done, so it's a finished object. So I have several friends having babies this fall, and I made the newborn vertebrae for one of them. And this is some Dream in Color, was a club colorway, and I'm not even sure when it was. I think it was from one of the 2016 clubs, but I'm not positive. I did modify it just a little. Instead of ribbing for the button band and neck band and cuffs and bottom hem, I did garter ridges, mostly because I didn't feel like doing ribbing, and garter ridges are a lot faster to knit back and forth than to do 2x2 ribbing. I had made one of these for my son 3 years ago, and I really didn't like the way the ribbing kind of like pulled in. It kind of made it curve up a little at the bottom and curved it in funny. I didn't really like that. So this is the newborn size, and it's the free one. They also have, there's an ebook that has, I think, baby, kitty, and mama vertebrae in it. And I have all of those, but I'm pretty sure this was, and I meant to look up who's the pattern designer is on this, and I completely forgot. Anyway, it's going to get a quick block and the ends woven in. All of my friends are due November or early December, so I've got time still to get all those blocked in, woven in. And then the work in progress that has been seeing a little bit of work is another baby sweater. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to be talking to the back of the room. And it is this preciousness. Oops. Hang on, let me tie off this slip yarn, this waist yarn real quick so that side came undone too. How about we do it real quick too? Okay. I just don't want to lose any of those stitches. So this is this delicate tan and pink and this super sweet, very simple lace. My little turtle stitch marker, just because I wanted to. I think the rest of them on here. Oh no, there's also a little ball of yarn. I say I think the rest of them on here are just plain, but there's two that aren't. But this is the Liliana by Irish Girly Knits, and it's just 4 repeats of that little lace pattern. I am going to do longer sleeves than it shows here. I want to use as much of this yarn as possible, so once I pick up for the sleeves, I'll knit them 2 at a time and make them sort of long. You know, it's going to depend on how much I have left. I'm not going to make them like excessively long just to use up every bit of the yarn. But the yarn is, let me show you up close just how delicately perfect that is. Oh, and look at that fuzziness. So this is Open Skies yarn, and I'm sorry if I just showed you a dog hair. It's dyed by my friend Jeanette, who is not currently dyeing yarn. She went back to school for, I believe, her master's in library sciences. But for a while she was dyeing yarn and just had a wonderful color sense. A lot of her colors were based on movies or plays, and she did a whole series that was Audrey Hepburn movies, and so this is In My Life. I also think I got Funny Face and Sabrina. I want to say there was another one I got, but it's not coming to me right now. So anyway, I love Audrey Hepburn and I love these colors. And this is a merino silk alpaca blend. But it's going to a mama who I know will hand wash and all those things. And I am knitting it on size 5 Chiagos. And I like them just fine for this. It works great. My other work in progress is, sorry about that. The alpaca does make my nose itch a little bit. Little fuzzies from it. It's my car socks. I always have a pair of socks on the go in the car, and as soon as I'm done recording here, I'm going to take these and put them back in the car so I don't forget. But it's an Apple Cheeks mini zip in the color Beat It. I didn't show that tag at all. I flipped it over like I was going to, and then it didn't actually show. And this was a gift from a friend of mine when I first talked about starting to cloth diaper Malcolm while we were still pregnant with him. And she said, come over, see my diapers, let's talk about all of it. And she's a huge enabler and gave me this gateway drug. So my car project socks are in it. I really like having something in the car that I can just pick up and work a round or so on while we're driving to dinner or whatever. Of course, that sometimes means that you stop for dinner and you're, oh, come on. You're not in the same place. So, as you see, I need to go ahead and finish the round on this sock so that they're being in the same place. But these are, and I'm glad that I had to re-record, because in both other attempts, I completely guessed wrong on the pattern for these. These are a pattern by Mina Phillip, the Knitting Expat, and these are from her New York Sock Club collection, and these are the Yorkville socks, and I just love this texture pattern. It does not even matter that this yarn is crazy busy. There's just this lovely, soft, squishy texture going on. So here you can see the other side. This is lovely maroon and white and gray. But just, I typically work toe up, so it's just a wedge toe, garter stitched, German short row heel, which I also stole from Mina. She does them. I thought they looked good and squishy, so I did them. I also did the mini heel flap adjustment in these. And the New York Sock Club was last year's Sock Club, so you can go, and I think she has I know you can buy the whole thing still, but I think now you can also buy the patterns individually if you'd like. So the yarn for this is from my favorite yarn shop, which is A Sheep at the Wheel. Tell me that is not the perfect yarn store name, especially for a yarn store in Texas. But my friend Susan is the owner of A Sheep at the Wheel, and she's also the dyer behind the Sheep Thrills line that they carry. And Susan and I attended the same college, and we don't have a fight song. We have a war hymn, and the war hymn begins, Hullabaloo, Connect, Connect. And so the color name for this in our school colors, which are showing much brighter than they are, this is a dark maroon. The color name for this is Hullabaloo. So I'm really missing Susan. It's yarn crawl right now, and usually that would mean that I go over in the middle of the week and take Malcolm, and we have a nice little visit. But now that I'm an hour and a half away, it's a little more difficult. We haven't made it over there yet for yarn crawl, and I'm definitely missing her. Not only, I mean, yes, I love her yarn, and I could absolutely order some and have her ship it, and I probably will. But I miss her friendship and being able to just hang out there, and she loves to have Malcolm come in and pet the yarn, and she doesn't care. He'll run around, and she has a couple crocheted stuffies in there, sheep and stuff, and she loves to let him play with them. So missing that a little right now, but have her yarn to knit with. So these are going back in the car. I don't really have any dream knitting per se. I do have some older projects that need to be pulled out, and I'm going to do that, especially for this weekend. We have an away football game, and so I'm going to spend a couple hours on the couch watching football this Saturday, and I need to pull out my mama's cardigan from last Christmas. Now, do not make that face at me. It was not supposed to be finished for last Christmas, so it's not like it's a year old and I haven't finished it. Her Christmas gift was that we went to her local yarn shop, which is Park Avenue Yarns, and I think they're still open in League City right now. They're going to be closing that location and moving to Friendswood shortly, but they're right now still in League City. But we went to Park Avenue Yarns together, and she got to pick out yarn for a cardigan, and that was after we sat around the night before, after we opened gifts, and she and I picked which pattern we were going to do. Let me see if I have the extra skeins for that over here, and I'll show you. Yeah. Let's see. Let's spice you. Go. Yeah. So it's the Nautis cardigan, and I think it's in my project page already, but we are doing Northbound Knitting in Enchanted, which is this lovely denim color. It's actually showing up pretty well on there. And then the stripes and contrast in it will be Bright Light City from Twisted Owl. And Twisted Owl is a local Texas dyer. She is in Longview, I think. Yep, Longview, Texas. And so this is got all kinds of lovely pops of color, and together they look fabulous. So I need to pull out that cardigan because I'm at a point in it where it's lots of stockinette, and so it'll be good couch knitting, watching football. So, and that way I can have it finished before Christmas this year. Other than that, knitting wise, I have a couple other languishing whips for myself that I will pick up and start working on once I get her cardigan done. Excuse me. And then sewing, I have finished sewing objects. So today is 10 years since I met my husband. I'm sorry. I closed the door so that I wouldn't hear the dog. And I still keep catching her out of the corner of my eye and wondering what the heck she's doing. So I'm real sorry about that. Today is 10 years since I met my husband. And we are going to go out to dinner. We are going to take advantage of having Grammy close by to be a babysitter. And so I made a dress. It is the Boundless by Patterns for Pirates. It's an Empire waistline. And I made this one with a pretty long skirt. I did modify the skirt. I didn't want to have to match this ombre on two sides, and so instead of cutting in pockets like I normally would, because this is the third Boundless that I've made, instead of doing the pockets, I just sewed down one side of the fabric and gathered it at the waistline the way you're supposed to. It does still need a quick press because it's a little janky right there, and I'll be honest, still needs to be hemmed because look at that beautiful jaggedness. Anyway, while this uploads, I'm gonna hem this, but I don't know if I don't think I've shown either of my other Boundless. I really like it. It's a very simple neckline. It's quite flattering on my not so flattering shape. But there's no neckband or armbands on this because it's a fully lined bodice, and so they just have you do this cute little trick of like rolling things up and wrapping it around and sewing one side and then pull it out and wrap it the other way. And anyway, I really like it. And I am gonna do it hem it at about ankle length right now. It pools on the floor, and while I love that look and it's very neat, I'm a little bit of a klutz, and I don't really want to be tripping on my dress tonight. Then to go with it, because I am cold anywhere the AC is on, ever, I made a cocoon cardigan. And y'all, this fabric is a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I'm not usually a big florals person, certainly not a big tropical floral person, but look at that hibiscus. And I should know what these other flowers are. I think these are like great big huge dogwood flowers. Not sure what that is. Anyway, I do like it. I actually bought it in a bundle with something else, and I bought it because, okay, so all the fabrics I'm going to show you today, including both of these, came from So English, and that's SOSEW English, and I'll put a link in the down bar. I'll also link to the patterns. So, but they do bundle deals every day, and often in their Facebook group there's an additional bundle discount. And so I had been eyeing this olive sweater knit, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with it yet, but I saw it and I liked it. I wanted to have it, so I had been keeping an eye on it, and it was bundled with this. It was cheaper for me to buy that too in the bundle than to buy this as yardage. So I did. And this is the cocoon cardigan. I made one of these recently for a friend of mine. I showed during one of the vlogs the outfits that I had made for her little girls. Well, she knew about those, so I could show them. She didn't know that I also made her a cardigan, so I surprised her when I sent it. But for her, I did 3/4 length sleeves. I did long sleeves for myself, and they're just hemmed, no cuffs, short bands. I didn't worry about pockets in the dress because I did put pockets in the cardigan. And as soon as I got these in, I actually got these in at the same time, but they were different bundles. And as soon as I got them in, I knew that they were going to look fabulous together. So let's see if I can, because all of the shades of green in that ombre are the shades that are in those leaves. So that's my outfit for tonight. We are going to go to a local farm to table restaurant, and I know farm to table is huge, it's all the rage, whatever. This one is truly farm to table. The owners also own a farm, and most of the produce that they sell in the restaurant, they use in the restaurant, comes from their farm. I believe some of the proteins do as well, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, it's Ronin, Ronin, in downtown Bryan, and we're going to go there for dinner, and then we are going to go see First Man, which is the Neil Armstrong Landing on the Moon movie. And so when I was younger, I wanted to be an astronaut, so I'm still a huge space nerd, and I cannot wait to see this film. So I'm super excited for tonight. Grammy's going to come over and watch Malcolm so that we can go out and enjoy ourselves as adults. So I do have, let me talk about Quilter's Book Passport first, because if I get cut off while I'm showing you fabrics and dream sewing, that's fine, but I'd like to show this. So I had a lot of people ask me last time about how to get involved in Quilter's Book Passport. The easiest way is to go and follow the hashtag on Instagram of Quilter's Book Passport. No spaces, no punctuation, anything. It's just Quilter's Book Passport. And it'll show you everything that anyone who's tagged with that. The other thing to do is go follow Button Counter. And she is at Button Counter. And just like I just showed you there, nothing capitalized, no spaces, anything like that, all one word. Her name is Monica, and as far as I know, she started this idea. If she got it from somewhere else, I'm not aware of it. But the idea is to pass books and fabric around without having to buy a bunch of books. So I showed y'all, actually I think it was on the blog, I don't think it was on the last podcast, Dear Amy, which is the other book that I just recently read, and this is the one that came with it at the same time. The person who had them I was next on the list for both the books they had. So this is delicious, and I just started reading a little bit of it last night, and it the idea behind Quilter's Book Passport is that you get a book, and it comes with 3 or 4 fat quarters of fabric that relate to the book, either one of the characters or the setting, or what they remind you of the book, whatever. And it's really kind of interesting. You get them, especially if you don't know anything about the book, and you kind of look at the fabrics and you're like, I have no idea where they're going with this. So then when you send it out, you can either send those same fat quarters, you can send some of those and some you've added, or you can add totally new ones, or you can send those and add some new ones. So what I got with this book is this loveliness. Oh, little birdie's upside down. So cherries and these pretty little blue flowers and birdies. I'm going to make a napkin, a cloth napkin out of this so that I can have it on my table all the time. I'm probably also going to do the same with this. It's just this lovely cream and khaki, and it has all kinds of words on it, and a bunch of them have to do with kitchen and food kind of stuff. And then I got this panel. Let me see if I can open it up and show it to you all at once instead of trying to show it to you piecemeal like I did last time. This is 4 panels that all have to do with olive oil or foods that are common in Italian cooking. So I think what I'm going to do with it is turn it into tea towels to cover dough as it's rising, because they're not really a good shape for napkins. They're kind of long and skinny. They're well sized to be like placemats, but I don't need more placemats. But I can always use extra, especially pretty, tea towels to cover whatever I'm making that needs to rise. So I think that's what I'm going to do with those. And going to keep reading and see. Hopefully I can get that done by the end of the weekend and get it sent out next week. And then I already have the next book that I'm reading has already arrived, so I need to get that one out. Okay, so dream sewing. Everything is in an opposite pile of what it was last time because I've already tried this. So I will start with what I'm making Malcolm first. And again, all of these fabrics are so English, and unless I mention that a pattern is from somewhere else, it's from Patterns for Pirates. So this is Winter Friends, or Snow Friends, or Frosty Friends, I don't remember. But it's polar bears and penguins, and it's double brush poly, I think, yeah. And I have some black double brush poly with it. Oh, wait a minute. No. Black French terry with it. And I think what I'm going to do with this is make Malcolm a little long sleeve, maybe the Jolly Roger Raglan, or maybe the Yoho Henley, with this as the main fabric and accents, and then I'm going to make myself a coordinating relaxed raglan with long sleeves with the black as the main fabric and sleeves in that. So, because I still like to do mommy and me even though I have a boy. The other thing I'm going to make for him is I'm going to make him the Captain Mac cardi and probably also a pair of Baby Bear joggers. This is some French terry, and it is snowman, and are they not adorable snowmen? And then for the contrast for that, I got this cotton lycra, and this was another bundle from So English. This is likely going to be a cocoon cardigan for someone else. This is some lovely, I think it's single brush poly. It may be bamboo spandex, I'm not sure, I'll have to look up. But either way, it's going to make a great cocoon cardigan. However, this is just not really me. I thought it might be when I saw it. I thought I might either do a pair of leggings out of it, or I thought I might make it the skirt with a black top, and the more I look at it, the more likely it is that I'm just not going to wear it. So I do have several people in my life who are worth sewing for, who would love this. So that is what's going to be. But I bought that in a bundle with this, which is kind of a brushed heathered maroon and kind of grayish white stripe sweater knit. And it's a pretty light sweater knit. It's not super heavy. And I'm going to make the grandpa cardi for myself out of this. And if I have any left, I may make Malcolm a little cardigan as well. And then I have plans for a couple outfits. These are both double brush poly, and this is showing more pink than it actually is. It's kind of a dusty purplish, but with that sunlight coming in, it's not really reading correctly, but it's all sewing notions. I got some black stripes with it. And so I think what I'm going to do with this is do either the sweet tea or the slim fit raglan, with this as the main and this as sleeves. And then what I have left of this, do pencil skirt, or maybe the Mama Cora, which I think is the sister company, from the sister company, made for mermaids, but I'll check that for sure. But I may do Mama Cora out of this, which is also a fairly simple skirt, and it has pockets. And then same with this, it's spools of thread, and then some merino white stripes. So, and then I also have what I'm planning to make as my Christmas dress. It's not typically super cold here for Christmas. Our coldest part of the year is usually late January, early February. So for Christmas, I can usually get away with wearing, I'm not going to say a short skirt because I don't wear short skirts, but a shorter skirt. Let's say knee length. And short sleeves, because we're going to be indoors at people's homes and the heaters will be running and it will be warm. So I've got some just plain black that I'm planning to use for the top, because we like to minimize things sometimes. And then this